our chance to hear from top thought leaders in and out of real estate. So you don't just have to be in real estate to be on this call and join us. And it allows us to become smarter and better humans while hearing from some of the best business minds in the country around technology, mindset, inspiration, and entrepreneurship. So as context, which I like to provide context every single, actually, I'm just going to stand up real quick and debut my most recent shirt. So I don't know if you guys can see this. This is the John L. Scott. Can you see it? John L. Scott COVID Vacation 2020 shirt. You can get this. That background's really messing it up. I gotta show you guys. I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of this shirt because, you know, you gotta have fun with it. John L. Scott, COVID Vacation 2020. Totally available to each and every one of you if you'd like to go and purchase that shirt at scottswag.com. So as context for the group, can we hear me now? As context for the group, you know, there's a couple quotes that came to mind when I think about data. If you torture the data long enough, it will confess. So, right? Our guests today are laughing, actually. Ronald Coase, an economist, said that. And then there's another really great quote by the Heath brothers, authors of Made to Stick, Switch. And they said, once we know something, we find it hard to imagine what it was like not to know it. And as I think about data for our owners and our office leaders, data helps us sleep better. It allows us to accurately plan our business and chart our course for the future. Each of our brokers and owners, office leaders, and agents are provided with a suite of tools through our MyDesk back office. And one of those tools is what we consider our benchmark tool, which is Trendgraphix, and the suite of tools that they provide. That's who will be joining our show today, the president and owner, as well as the director of sales. And that's an exciting time for us to what I call demystify the Trendgraphix data delivery system, because it's super easy to use and massively relevant for each of you, whether you're an owner, broker, office leader, or agent. And it's all available to you and paid by John L. Scott if you're affiliated with John L. Scott. And yet, let's face it, we are agents, and sometimes the data takes second seat to many of the roles and the responsibilities that we have on the job. So my goal is, like I mentioned, to demystify it. And then furthermore, Trendgraphix makes it possible for Lennox to put in the housing update team to put together all of our housing updates across our 4 states, which we could not do without Trendgraphix. So Lennox lives by data, loves data, and Gene, our guest, and Dennis know that well. So Gene, prior to being a charter founder of Trendgraphix, she held a number of executive positions at Lion Real Estate, and in fact is still involved with Lion Real Estate. And I'm actually going to double check. Is Pat on the call yet? Pat was invited, and he might even actually be here soon. And actually, it has played Gene has also played a major role in some of the breakthrough new opportunities with Trendgraphix and delivering the Trendgraphix data to you, our agents, brokers, and owners. So, and then Dennis has 25 years of experience. Dennis Haley has 25 years of experience in acquiring new businesses and working closely with accounts for optimal benefits and maintaining relationships all around the real estate transaction. So Dennis believes in the saying, knowledge is power. I think we've all heard that before, right, Dennis? But he believes in it. So he strives to make Trendgraphix your trusted partner. And for John L. Scott, Trendgraphix is our trusted partner. So if you've seen that Trendgraphix thing on the MyDesk, today's the day you're going to learn simply, elegantly simply, what Trendgraphix can do for you and your business as an owner, operator, broker, agent, office leader. So Gene Lee, welcome to the show. Dennis Haley, welcome to the show. Gene,
Yes.
thank
James,
you.
thank you for this great introduction.
Yeah.
And yes, we love data and we live with data. We dream about data. So especially with John L. Scott, you have been our client since 2000 or 2001. So we have a long business relationship and we value and cherish that greatly. And to have a leader like Linux to use our data to this level and help agents to understand the data and interpret the data even in a deeper level, that's just very impressive. So it's an honor and a privilege to be on the show today. And so, you know, if at any point, any questions while we're talking, just interrupt us. Do you want me to talk about a little bit about our company first?
Yeah, you know, what I was thinking is, Gene, why don't you just initially just unpack, you know, the genesis of Trendgraphix. Kevin, your husband, started this thing 30 years ago, right?
Yes.
And 30 years ago, data looked different, right?
Yeah,
like I don't think we had like photos of houses 30 years ago, right? Or close, right? So maybe unpack like how the genesis of Trendgraphix came about 30 years ago. And how it was relevant 30 years ago. I mean, obviously what you do today is significantly different than yesterday.
Yeah, no, I do like to share this story because I found it's very interesting. Every time I went to Realty Alliance or Leading RE, when we talk about Trendgraphix, and people always love to hear the story. So I'll make a long story short. Okay, it's a 30 years history, but it's very simple. So it's interesting, about 2 decades ago at Lion Real Estate Company Picnic. Oh, by the way, I work at Lion Real Estate for about 27 years, from the chief financial officer to the president and COO. So I have very accumulative experience in real estate. But anyway, so at the company picnic, our #1 agent came to me and asked me whether through software is it possible that we can put MLS data in graphical illustration. She believes that the graph, again, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And she believes that the graph will help agents communicate better with their customers. So I went home and told Kevin. Kevin's my husband, and he's in computer system design. So I shared the idea with him. I said, hey, our #1 agent, Marge, told us about this. What do you think? And he found that's interesting. And so then he said, well, that's a great idea. But again, is that just one person's need or a lot of people's, professional needs? So then we put together a task force of about 20 agents from different offices. And then Kevin met with them one-on-one together and then validated the idea. And also we received absolutely overwhelming positive needs that they want the system. So Kevin then embarked on the project. And so originally our system, can you believe it, 30 years ago, was paper-based production. Oh, hi Linux, I see you. And you probably remember, you remember at that time, we had to mail the information to our clients, okay? And then a few years later, because of the popularity of using the data, then we heard a lot of feedback. So for the convenience for our customers, so Kevin converted the system he was using by himself into a desktop software. Okay, so then we had the software, and then about 15 years ago, Kevin again saw the trend of internet, and then he said, oh, maybe I need to make another change, because with the internet, if we can put the system in the cloud, then all the clients, customers can access the information at any time, anywhere with any electronic devices, right? So that's how the system was evolved into today's web-based system. So I hope by sharing this story with you, you can see the system was originally, okay, the idea came from our #1 top producer. And then we were able to validate that idea and put together this system. And till today, it's even more powerful. As we all know, like you said very well, James, in the beginning, data is very important to, not just business owners to make right decision. In today's world, customers, they all search online. So to help our agents to be the expert, the advisor, it's very important to, with this easy to use information and help them to understand the market trend. So I hope this is an interesting story to all of you. That's how Trendgraphix was born.
You guys were huge visionaries to embark in this, or even get out of your own way to do this 30 years ago. So that's impressive. And now to see what it's become and all that you provide for so many real estate firms. So, Dennis, show your face here. I've introduced you, but this is Dennis Haley. He's the director of sales for Trendgraphix, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the two main products that Trendgraphix has for both agents, brokers, as well as operators and our office leaders.
Hi, James. Thanks. And yeah, again, my name is Dennis Haley. I'm the director of sales here at Trendgraphix. And here at Trendgraphix, I love the line knowledge is power. And the knowledge is power really comes into play in two different directions. Of course, as an agent, having that data, being able to talk to your prospects and utilize that data to strengthen any conversation you're having with them, to take them down the road you want them to go, all that is very key in being the true market expert. So we have a system that's called Facts and Trends. And Facts and Trends really is exactly what the name is. It's facts about the market and showing the trends of the market.
Call it what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, and like Gene was talking about earlier, being able to put that into graphs and charts with all that data that we're providing and everything is really key in working with their prospects. The other side, of course, of our systems is a system called Broker Edge. And throughout the years, as Gene mentioned, this was all started at the agent level, helping the agents with their prospects and everything like that. But throughout the years, the data, as we're all noticing, is, well, the data is there for the performers to be able to help the brokers. So the brokers, and when I say the brokers, the ownership, the management, all that, to be able to go in and compare, contrast, run market share, this versus last. And then really a key component, of course, is being able to analyze agents, from recruiting and bringing agents on board. So our other system, as I mentioned, is called Broker Edge, and that's more of a management tool, James. So you have Broker Edge and Facts and Trends. Broker Edge is more of a management tool. Facts and Trends is more of an agent tool.
And so our group should know that if you're an owner, you're given additional rights and access through my desk for the Trendgraphix Broker Edge program. So that's not something that you just have to click on. It's not actually available to agents. It's available only to our office leaders and our office ownership. But that doesn't mean that our agents and brokers out in the field don't have access to good data. So on that Facts and Trends, that's useful for what? Maybe you could unpack that for our group, our agents and brokers, depending on what state you live in, that are working with buyers and sellers.
Well, the Facts and Trends system, to me, I think is just unbelievably useful for the agents. I was in title and escrow for about 14, 15 years before I came on board here. And before that, I was actually in technology in the late 90s down in the Bay Area. And so I have that technology background and then that data background, because when I was in title and escrow, all I saw was data. and I worked with the agents. Well, one of the most common things I saw with the most successful agents is they knew how to use, of course, their charm, but also the data. They knew how to show what's going on in the market. So with our systems being 100% web-based, an agent at any time can be out in the field and a conversation can get struck up, and they can just pull up their phone right then and there and say, hey, let's take a look at the market. What's your zip code? What's your city? You know, anything like that. So from that perspective, I think it's really key where a conversation, as most agents know, can all of a sudden come up at any time, anywhere. The other side of it is for agents being able to utilize it for their CMA appointments. Sitting down with a prospect and a CMA, this enables them to what I like to use the word is supplement to the CMA, being able to print out a chart and a graph. This does not take the place of a CMA tool. This is built, our facts and trends system is built to help supplement and help strengthen any kind of conversations they're having by printing out. If a prospect really feels that, hey, this is how much my property is worth and everything, being able to go in there and analyze the market in their particular details of their property and see, well, no other properties have been selling or, you know, going in that range for the last 15 months is really key. So, and the last thing I'll say, James, in regards to the facts and trends system, as far as how it can help, and again, this goes with any data, the fact we actually go back 15 years. And so we are the only data company out there that goes back 15 years. And I think that is really key, depending on the MLS, by the way. But most MLSs do let us go back 15 years. And the fact that an agent can work with somebody that might be moving into a city or a zip code and really look and put down roots, go back 10 years, 15 years, show them what that market's been like in that city, that neighborhood, that subdivision is really key. And then of course, hey, we know that we've been in other troubled times, and being able to go back 15 years and see what the market looked like going into those times, and then how did the market rebound? What did it look like coming out of those times is key for an agent, which actually does lead me to my last point on that, James. Sorry, one more thing, self-education. I tell you, when I train on our product, I cannot tell people enough, use this system to become the true market expert in your local area. They have 15 years worth of data for sale, sold, pending, months of inventory, average price for sale, average price closed, all these different sale price percentage, everything that they can go back. It really enables the agent to become that true local market expert that they're supposed to be.
Thank you. And
James,
yes,
James, I wanted to add something. Okay, Dennis said very well, but I think there's another great feature, great use of facts and trends is in the marketing side. Okay, so with the digital environment the agents are in, so you can post, we have the post to web tool, so the graphs can be posted to agents' website. And the beauty of doing that, all the data is updated monthly, automatically. So once you put it on the website, you don't have to do anything. Great, Linux, I saw you applause that.
Yes.
So that's really, you know, we are so proud of that convenience we provided for our agents. And also, you know, for your blog, okay, if you do blogs and other things, you do email campaign, we have our Transcend or market summary report in facts and trends. And agents can just use the tool. A lot of calculations are done for the agents. So it's just at their fingertips, they can use this tool in addition to what Dennis just mentioned for their marketing.
Just a little bit more on facts and trends. I think a lot of times agents and brokers, depending on which state you're in, when we're thinking of our clients, we're thinking, oh, they don't look at all this data. They're not maybe interested in these graphs and charts. And yet, if you think about it, there's a huge group of consumers out there that study this stuff and know this stuff backwards and forwards and follow it. We have a huge group of analytical folks, engineer folks here in Washington state and certainly in other states. And so us becoming acquainted with effects and trends in delivery and being able to spell it out in a really easy way for our clients when we do meet with them or through social media or a blog or whatever, obviously a huge opportunity for us to speak our consumers' language.
Yeah, James, you are totally right. That's why we have graphs. We also have a data table at the bottom. So then for the users, they don't want to see the numbers. We can just show the pictures. And then for those, like you mentioned, the engineer type minded customers, they want to analyze what's really happening. Then you can show the data table. So we try to help our agents, customers to use the information with different type of customers and please their inquiry, so.
Yeah, thank you. So Dennis, back to the Broker Edge piece. So just for context, for our office leaders and our independent owners and operators, this is the Uber rights that we provide those constituents within our organization, and it gives access to agent data. So obviously, to know what agent productivity is happening out there from a recruitment standpoint, a super huge opportunity for recruitment to know the business, if the business is up or the business is down for the agents that you're looking to recruit into your firm, and then have an educated conversation with those agents and brokers. So what's interesting about that is that that's also an opportunity for us, that are working with buyers and sellers and knowing the productivity of the agent, maybe that we're making an offer on a certain listing and you want to know what kind of business they do, or if you receive an offer from an agent and you want to know that they're an experienced agent, you can always go to your office leader or your independent or the owner of your firm and have them look up the data on that agent, which is really useful in having a conversation. So Dennis, could you explain a little bit on the Broker Edge and the context for our owners, operators, and our office leaders?
Absolutely. So Broker Edge, again, is our system that is a management tool, and it is built to help the broker owners from a bunch of different levels. You can run reports at 3 different levels: the brokerage, the office, and the agent levels. The brokerage level is when you're running market share reports, analyzing brokerages, where we're aggregating offices and putting them together at the brokerage level. You can go in and compare, contrast, all those things at those different levels. The second level, the office level, is looking at every single office individually. So if you're a broker owner and you have one office and you really want to do an apples to apples search versus you versus owner, you can go in there and do it at the office level. Again, run all the same type of reports, trend over time, this versus last, market share, all those different things at that level. Then, of course, there is the third level, which is the agent level. The agent level, once again, run all the same type of reports, but you can really dig down deep, not only on, agents that you, as you mentioned, James, that you could possibly be prospecting, but your own agents, being able to keep an eye on your own agents and see how things are going. So when you sit down with them and have a one-on-one with them, or anything like that, you can really be educated on them and help them see where their strengths are and then maybe where their weaknesses are. Maybe where you can say, okay, listen, let's build on this here, your strengths, and let's morph it over into this area where maybe we can build that up a little bit more. So the Broker Edge system is a great tool for that. We've also, I keep using the word morph, but I do like the word, we've continued to morph Broker Edge as the years go on, because the data is getting more accessible for us, and the technology continues to grow of what we can do with it. So we've even brought Broker Edge now to where we have a system, the Broker Edge Plus, to where you can go in and not only identify agents that fit your specific parameters and your specific of the culture of what it is you do, whether it's units, volumes, things like that, like buyer's agents, seller's agents. But then now you can start to add them to different lists where we have a target list, a watch list, create your own custom list. And then you can even start to get alerts then on those people. As you know, James, recruiting is all about identifying, taking action, and then landing them. It just can, we like to say that little full circle, and then you continue to work with them to not only retain them, but then also have them introduce you to other people. So our systems have, again, continue to morph into where we are bringing more and more things on like that. And without going too deep into it and everything like that, but man, we even have we have what we call our dashboard page for agents with our Broker Edge Plus system, to where every report on that page is dedicated to that agent. So for not only recruiting, but retention, like I said, those one-on-ones and everything, the data's there. We're giving you the ability to be able to find it, look at it, and use it.
I love that. And for Broker Edge and for our office leaders and our owners, you can actually save the reports. They auto update, kind of what Gene mentioned, which is really incredible in terms of knowing what's going on in your market on a monthly basis. I certainly have that set up for several of our offices.
And James, and thank you for bringing that up, because I also want to mention, I know Gene had mentioned that about the updating, the monthly and all that and everything. With both our systems, I do want to make sure that everyone knows, we download every single day. So depending on how that report is saved, like in Broker Edge, if the Broker Edge report is saved as a monthly, like a rolling 12, it will automatically update itself every month. So you go in there, you set the exact data columns that you want. So you're looking at the data that you want, save it, and you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. Every month that report will change. However, that same report where you got all the data columns that you have for a rolling 12, well, then you can just simply click on the little edit for the date range and say year to date. Now that report will be showing January 1st through today's the 7th, so it'll be going through 8/6, and that report will change every single day. So it's however you've got the report saved, that's how it will update itself.
That's great. And how far does it go back, the data? You don't purge at some point, do you?
No. So again, we hold on to 15 years worth of data. So if the MLS, when we set up an MLS, if they allow us to go back and get 15 years worth of data, we'll go back and get 15 years worth of data right away. I think all the MLSs you work with, if I recall, or 99% of them all have 15 years worth of data. If there's an MLS that does not, well, eventually we will have 15 years worth of data as we continue to work with them. Our goal is to always have at least, 15 years worth of data.
And I know Lennox uses that data on our market life cycle and just kind of predictability year over year. Take out COVID and how crazy things are now. There's no bad time to buy or sell right now at this point. There would nothing in the market. However, that predictability over a span of several years still follows kind of the same trends. And then Lennox created this new trend, which is the football piece, right, Lennox? I forget what you call it. Yes, please unmute that. Unmute that.
There, in reference to
the market life cycle, you talk about football and how it affects the kickoff of our real estate sales at the start of the year.
The 6 phases to the housing cycle.
Yes.
Yearly housing cycle.
Yeah. So actually, we noticed that everything kind of held up until the football season gets kicked off. So yeah. So
James, always, because I want to put on the management hat, and because we have many owners and management people here, I want to emphasize again on the Broker Edge, side of the product. It has alert. It will notify, because we all know office managers are very busy to track, 50, 80, 100 agents production and their activities. That's impossible. No matter how hard they work, it's just impossible. So with Broker Edge, we have alert. We alert the management people to let them know, hey, you so-and-so had what, so then they can stay in touch with their agents, especially at this working from home situation, to know what's going on and create meaningful conversation with the agents. It's just very, very important. The other thing is, the Broker Edge report shows the co-op agents, and that's very important, I think, for the management to talk to the other agents to understand our own agents' production and services, and that will just help the future relationship. And so I think that's very important. And then also on the annual, if you want to review your agent's production using the this versus last report, just help managers to look at what's going on, the strengths and the weakness of their agents, and help them to do a better planning for the future. So I just want to touch, add on those kind of management tools that I know our managers love the system. So for that reason.
And just for our whole group, we've got a couple of experts within the organization when it comes to Trendgraphix and training our offices, and certainly our office owners and office leaders can reach out to me, and we can get that set up for you if someone wants to understand Facts and Trends or Broker Edge a little bit better. As well, Zach and Worry are on the call from Trendgraphix, who are super experts with Trendgraphix. So there's between Trendgraphix and John L. Scott, if you don't know how to use the system, we'll help you. So I want to get in now to how the kind of most recent COVID thing encouraged some enhancements to Facts and Trends. So maybe Dennis and Jean, could you share a little on that?
Oh yeah, this is just, Dennis has the real chart to show off you, but I have to say I want to thank all of our users without their input, because they called us. They said, how about to see this? How about to see that? And then we said, yes, we need to know that, because this is a different time. We need to dissect the data in a more detailed, different ways, so that we can help owners and agents understand the market direction, because everyone was kind of a little bit panicked because of the uncertainty. But once we dissect the data, added more analytics at our Facts and Trend charts, I think that helped people to see, oh, it's actually not that bad. Yes, initially was really not good, okay, because things just kind of got pushed, a pause button. But then later, the pent-up demand and the lower interest rate just make the activities, again, back to the level we are hoping. So of course, Dennis, why don't you show the chart? And I just can't thank our users enough for their input.
Yeah, and so before I even show the chart, I just wanted to say, one of the things I take the most pride in with our company is we listen. We are a data company, and things are always changing. And so that's why our products have continued to morph, because we listen. And we have people that say, hey, wouldn't it be great if you could do this with a chart? Wouldn't it be great if you could do that? And so one of the things that when all the lockdowns was happening and COVID was really kicking in and all that, was we had what's called the percentage change summary table, and people were saying, hey, it's great that we're looking versus the previous month and and all that. But what about the month that we're in? The month that we're in, the daily, and being able to compare that. So what we did is we created, and I'm gonna hit share screen here. Screen, share, and show. And James, I'm gonna ask and make sure that you can see this. Can you see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, so in our Facts and Trends system, underneath the charts, we have what's called the percentage change summary table. And up here, this top three, we've always had, where we're showing the current versus the previous month, and you can see whether the for sale is down, up, but that was what was so like right now we're in August, and you can see we're comparing July versus June. Then we have the current versus same month 1 year ago. Again, it's comparing July versus July of 19. You can see up, down, which way is the market trending. And then we have the current versus the last 3 months versus the same 3 months the year before. However, we had people saying, hey, that's great, but we want to know what's going on in this given month compared to the month before, and then also the same month last year. So now, if you look here where I've highlighted, we added a whole nother row here, what we call today's stats. And so today, well, I took this, as you can see, yesterday, but you can see the time frame in August was August 1st through the 5th. And what we did is we now compare it through the 1st through the 5th of July. So you can see for sale is down just slightly. You can see the new listings was down 23%.
That's valuable.
The sold is up and the pended is up. That pended being up 46%. That's a good thing there. Then we thought this was really important because last year people were not in the lockdown, in the COVID in August. So let's take a look and see what it was, same time frame versus that same month last year. So you, again, the 1st through the 5th of August through the 1st through the 5th of August of 2019. Look at this. The for sale is down 56%. The inventory is way down. The new listings down, 37%, 16 versus 10. And then, but look at this though, the market, it's working on rebounding. And by the way, I'm using, as you can see up here, I'm using Linwood as my example, the city of Linwood in Washington there. You can see, look at the pended. The pended is up 175%. This is a very strong number to be able to show somebody that's thinking of maybe putting their house on the market, say, look, people are writing contracts, things like that. So there's a lot of ways you can use these numbers. And then to me, another thing that I love that we added here is the year to date. I love this because look at this, the January 1st through the 5th versus January 1st through the August 5th of 19. Yeah, we're down 56% in where the inventory is, but the new listings are really only down 15%. The sold is down 19%, but look at this. Look at the pended. The pended, because the pendeds are 175%, they're going way up. We're almost even with where we were at this time frame last year, which really shows the mark. So being able to go in there and analyze and see that, and this here was all just brought on and over the last couple months because of everything that's been happening with the market wise. So again, it's a way when people make suggestions and people say, hey, it'd be great if we could do this. We listen, we try to build out our systems. That's how Broker Edge has gotten to where it is. People said, hey, it'd be great if I could find out where an agent's been for the last 10 years. Well, now you can. So James, did that all make sense?
Oh, I love it. I love that enhancement. And I don't know of an agent or broker that did not receive at least one phone call during the at least March or April saying, should I hold off, or should we start looking for a house? Should we consider selling next year instead of this year? Having that data, those green arrows, super helpful in that conversation, and providing it. You become the expert by providing that, and that's just a fingertip away, basically, just right within Trendgraphix. So what a great enhancement. Along the lines of enhancements, what's your kind of company philosophy around enhancements for the future? Will AI start showing up in what you do, around the growth of Trendgraphix in the future, Dennis and Jean?
Okay. Well, again, just like Dennis mentioned, okay, so we always listen, and that's very important, because if we just create a product based on our own desire and wishful thinking, that's not good. So we do that. And also we always want to make sure we follow the technological capability so that we can continue to speed up our user experience, okay? Because you don't want to have this circle keep waiting, and so you don't have that problem. And of course, we know right now there are many other information or use of the information. Our clients are providing our feedback, and we are working very diligent on that. But I don't want to set the expectation here, but I just want everyone to know that hopefully by the end of the year, okay, this year, you will see another exciting announcement. So I'm going to put you in suspense, because we don't want to over-promise, we want to over-deliver. So Linux, wait, in December or January, we have something else you will be very thrilled. Okay, so I'll just put it in that way because this is going to be broadcast. We want to keep our edge, and we don't. A lot of our competitors copy our programs, so we have to be very careful with what we share in the public. But again, we follow our philosophy. We listen, we improve ourselves, and our company is very nimble and adaptable. So great things will come. Okay, so that's the most I can say.
Well, it makes sense. And you did privately talk to me about this new enhancement, but you're right, 7,000 people on Facebook Live and Zoom, you know, and obviously some competitors. Lennox, if you need to know more about that, just let me know. We can grab a coffee. But no, Gene and Dennis, we're really excited that you guys keep on it and are constantly looking for ways to evolve. So we have a couple questions out there in our Facebook Live group as well as our Zoom group. Nick, what do you have out there?
Thank you, Gene, Dennis. Quick question from Zoom. What type of data trends do you see impacting real estate in the future? And this isn't a way to try to get you to disclose what you were talking about just recently, but just kind of an overview of where you see things going in the future.
Dennis, I'll have you answer this time.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what exactly they were asking by that. If they mean by how, as a technology, are we going to be able to improve with the data trends and things like that? The only thing I can say in regards to that is we are continually updating our systems more and more with the way the technology is being able to be done and the data that's being able to be accessed to. As far as the trends itself, I would say that's kind of a market type situation. And so Lennox, I see you unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Just a couple questions. First of all, thank you for being here. Fabulous program. We use it all the time. So your team has really been working with the MLSs to get them to report the same, each MLS to report the same way so that we can have statistical information across the board. And then there's this new system called Grid where the MLSs are coming together. Is that an advancement to help you? Will that help you in your collection and same input and same everything concept?
Yeah, so more and more, yes, you are starting to see the MLSs getting on the same field with the way they provide the data with Grid and other systems, other platforms. So yes, that does make things easier for us. One of the things I like to point out, Lennox, is, and Nick on this is, there's a reason there's only a handful of us that do what we do. To work and form relationships with 500 plus MLSs nationwide is not the easiest thing to do, to get that data and to be able to really pull from each one and get the same type of fields that we need to run our systems. So yes, Lennox, to answer your question, the way that the MLSs are now starting to have kind of a general rule, I know there's been a lot of things that have been put in place that are actually going into action as we speak. That will make things easier for us.
Okay, the next one is, I've always wanted to work on this concept of a national IDX. You're pulling data from all across the nation. Zillow's got all the data, Realtor.com and Redfin, a few others, but the realtor on the street doesn't have access to be able to show their client data across the nation. And when I said client, I mean client. Because of that relationship. They're not a customer, a one-off type of a deal. This is my client. They want access to all information. Are you having conversations at all with NAR or others to be able, or the MLSs to be that, since you're already pulling all the data from everybody, to be that source? or can you talk about that?
Well, Gene, you want to take that or do you want me to?
Now you go ahead because, but I think, again, as a vendor, we are a vendor. We need the broker's support in order for us as a vendor to access the information. So that's the relationship. So if more brokers recommend, Trendgraphix, I think it will help us to get the data easier. But just a vendor, we have to go through, navigate the broker relationship and get that data access agreement. So again, it's very complicated,
Yeah, we're a big support to you as a company with the MLSs we're part of. I know we work together.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, that's again, so you can see that's just a testimony to what I just said. We need to have a very supportive broker who understands why data is so important.
Yeah.
To the end beneficiary of the data, and then create this relationship for us. Otherwise, there's a resistance, so.
I see where Lennox was going on that. You have assembled essentially a Zillow. So there's a few things missing, but from a national IDX standpoint, that is an interesting way to look at that, since you're a broker resource or an agent firm resource.
James, I keep pushing that nationwide. I said, why does everybody else have it except for those of us on the street that are working with actual buyers and sellers? Why don't we have the whole nation? You can only sell where you have a license, but we're the trusted information source, and then we would refer them to somebody that we trust to provide that service if it's out of our license area.
Yeah, and Lennox, I can answer a little bit of that. There is Zillow and some of these other ones. They're getting a full RETS feed just like we're getting a full RETS feed from all these different MLSs. Okay, but they, just like us, they can't get a full RETS feed. They can't get that data until they have a client or a customer they're working with in that area. So Zillow is such a giant. And everything, and they've got customers in every single market across the nation, Lennox.
Right.
So they're getting those feeds from each and every MLS. We are restricted to the MLSs that we work with, and we work with the MLSs we work with because we have clients that are in those markets, in those areas.
Sure.
So we can't do a true national. I'd love to say we can, Lennox, but we're not working with all 500 plus MLSs nationwide yet.
Yet. I was going to throw in yet if you didn't.
Yes, exactly. Oh, no, always. And then the last thing I would say with that, Lennox, is we are restricted. Any data analytical company is restricted to the agreements we sign with the MLSs. So can we put out a piece maybe and say, yeah, hey, take a look at the market here. But we wouldn't be able to have a client of ours that is up in the Northwest start analyzing and researching in the system a MLS out on the East Coast because they're not a member, they're not part of that, and everything like that, because we are restricted. They make us sign what we either call a digital access agreement or a vendor agreement, which says we will not provide access to our systems to anybody that is not part of that MLS. Does that, again, make sense, Lennox?
Yep.
But someday we will be everywhere.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Happy to help you with
I
that.
just want to put out acknowledgement to Gene and Dennis and your team because this data keeps the conversation alive. It's an inflection point each month. We can make our adjustments to the market. What should we emphasize on moving forward? The timeliness of your data is phenomenal so that we can then interpret it for our markets about press releases and everything. Because it's formatted in the way we need to see it. And thank you for making the adjustments to your forms so that we could see the data in the format we need to. Major impact in the market. So just my acknowledgement to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lennox. I know my IT team will be so happy to hear that because they work behind the scene. Our product VP product development and worry, and she's just always does her best in communicating and working with your team and all our other customers. And the other thing, while you are talking about data, I want to emphasize is, you know, as the vendor downloading the information from MLS, we don't just take the data as they are. We have programs we wrote in our system to, I always like to use smell test. Okay, so we really actually just smell test the numbers, because again, there will be data entry mistake. If 1 0 is missing, the sales price is totally different. So we have logic, okay, written in our program. We can clean up the data. So that's why we are very proud of our data accuracy. And so I want to, again, thank you for your acknowledgement, but that there are things we do inside our system to make sure we provide very clean and accurate data. And then if there are mistakes, we contact the MLS and ask them to correct their data.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry, was that you, Dennis?
Well, I would say, I think Nick said there was another question then too.
No, I think James, I think there's some questions from
We've got a question. Yeah, we've got a question with Aaron out in the Facebook Live group.
Yeah, we have Eugene who asked if certain or specific data points from IDX could be shared or paid for to get a partial picture of other MLS regions. This is in contrast to paying for and receiving the entire IDX data feed.
Yeah, so that's actually an area that we really don't partake in with IDX feeds and hitting points like that. I do know there are what's called IDX suppliers out there, you know, that again work with the MLSs nationwide and all that. Our systems really are built and meant to work with our brokerages, work with our agents within that specific market that's to them. If at any point they would like to add a market and be able to pull those points, we just verify that they are a member of that MLS or like that. We are restricted to that for right now, and that's what we have to kind of go by. So Aaron, do you think hopefully that answers that question?
Yeah, I think it does. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything else? I just wanted to thank the two of you for taking this time to make data fun. I got to be honest with you, I was a little nervous about this one because, you know, I mean, I didn't know what we were going to get and how this was going to go, and if we would even have questions. We had some great questions, and you've helped really demystify data in a lot of ways. And obviously, you have a couple really amazing products that are really easy to access and provided by John L. Scott for all of our team. So, any other final thoughts?
Well, I think, again, what I wanted to add, first, again, thank you, James and Lennox, for having us here. And we really cherish the 20-some years relationship we have been built together. And I just want to emphasize again with everyone and the audience out there, our company, you know, truly listens. Okay, so if you have feedback, let us know. And we try to maintain that edge that we have, and mainly because we enhance our products by listening to the users, and we follow the latest technological trend to improve our system performance so that we can create an enjoyable experience for our customers. And the other thing I want to emphasize is training. Okay, again, our products, Facts and Trend, is extremely intuitive. Okay, everyone, when it's what you see is what you get on one screen. And so it's very easy to navigate. And Broker Edge has more information to deal with, but we do try to understand the user behavior, and we add tips, okay, on our report to kind of remind the users how to use the information and to do their next step. So I just want to emphasize we have training, and we have live person to train, okay? And we also have 24/7 on our website, we have the support center. There are a lot of Q&A and videos for users who want to learn on their own at any time. The system is there to help you. So I just want to thank you all to let you know we strive for the best, and we try to provide all the resources, and we appreciate your being our very valued subscribers and users.
Yeah. So Gene, your training, an office leader could call somebody in your team to do an office training?
Yeah, we actually, okay, Dennis, you can answer.
I'll take that, Gene.
Okay.
And then I had one, you know, Lennox, the answer to that is yes. You know, I know Zach, one of our trainers here, he just actually did a training session with John L. Scott,
yes,
for Facts and Trends agents. And so that was set to be broad. You know, anybody and everybody from John L. Scott could jump on it. Mm-hmm. However, if you have an office, if there's a manager that says, hey, listen, I'd really like to drill down in our market, our area, what's important to our agents, absolutely, Lennox, we'd be more than happy to set that up. So they can just reach out to us and we'll set it up.
Great. You're still located in Sacramento?
We are. We're in Northern California, Sacramento, so we're in the same time zone.
Well, we're good friends with the Lion Real Estate Company on the other side of the ledger of what you guys are doing, and we've always been good friends through the leading real estate companies of the world. So just want to please say hello to Mr. Shea for me.
Yes, absolutely. I will. We share the same building with Lion Real Estate. So, and I see Pat Poole on the call, and I just want to say hello. I really appreciate Pat, you know, Pat Poole kind of arranged this relationship with James and introduced us to him and give us this opportunity. And, you know, so we have many members in Leading RE and Realty Alliance. They are our customers. So again, thank you all for your support. And we will.
I have one last thing to say.
Oh, yes, Dennis.
Yeah, sorry, Gene. So, James, you were asking any little last things. All I just want to say is, listen, yes, knowledge is power. I'm all about that. But for all of you real estate agents out there and real estate brokers and all that, there's one thing that we all agree on for the most part. To be able, there's no surefire way to predict the future in real estate. Everybody tries to, but the one thing we can all agree on is one of the most key ways to try and predict the future of what's going on with real estate is look at the trends of the past. Mm-hmm. Go back, look at what's happened. Look at what's happened when other times there's been troubled times. How did the market come out of it in your little area like that? So again, the ability that we go back 15 years, but any data company, just using data to know what happened in the past to help you predict what could happen in the future is really key. And that goes to my knowledge is power. And
yes, well said, Dennis. Yes.
And I was going to also thank Pat Poole for brokering this deal. She basically was my broker for Gene Lee. So thank you, thank you, Pat, for convincing Gene that she could provide a lot of value here. And Gene, you have, and Dennis, of course, thank you for your support as well and kind of talking about the product. So on behalf of John L. Scott and Lennox Scott and the entire Facebook Friday team and our moderators, Nick and Aaron, we would like to thank you so much for joining us today and demystifying data as best you can and providing and offering training and education for those who don't yet know how to use the tool. And we just look forward to working with you for many, many, many years, another 20 years into the future.
Yes.
We
turn 9 years this year, and obviously we would love that you're part of that. So
yeah, congratulations. Yeah. So,
James, can I just say our website?
Oh yes, tell us how.
Trendgraphix.com. TRENDGRAPHIX. I just try to remind people it's ix.com.
So next week we have Brady Sandel. He joins us from the Coachella Valley. Brady's in charge of the Luxury Global Initiative for Keller Williams. And I just reached out to Brady because he has a absolute top real estate team. He owns the market in the Coachella Valley called the Brady Sandell Real Estate Group in the Coachella Valley. And so he will be joining us to talk about kind of opening behind the curtain on the Keller Williams luxury program, but primarily around his work in creating these definable moments within the relationship from a luxury standpoint, similar to the Ritz-Carlton. So he'll be talking all about luxury for Rachel, who's on the call. This is a great call to join our director of luxury for John L. Scott. Just so much wisdom around luxury in the real estate space. And just so you know, Brady used to live up in the Pacific Northwest, and he actually studied John L. Scott, and he calls John L. Scott an iconic brand, and is super impressed with Lennox and John L. Scott and what we're doing. And so it was just this random phone call, and he's all in and loves John L. Scott. So we'll see where that relationship goes. So have a safe and productive weekend, all of you. We'll be back here next week at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to meet with Brady. So have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.